Level 1, Campanero, Lookout. You stand on a humid street corner where the air feels heavy and slow, pretending to scroll through a cracked phone, while your real focus stays locked on everything that moves around you. Motorbikes pass, windows roll down, strangers linger a second too long, and every detail gets stored in your head like it might save you later. A police truck crawls past once, then circles back again, slower this time. And your grip tightens as you tilt your screen just enough to snap a photo without drawing attention. You send it instantly without words because here, silence carries more meaning than anything you could say. Across the street, a quick exchange happens between two men who never make eye contact, and you keep your gaze forward, acting like you didn't notice a thing. Behind you, a door slams. Voices rise, then cut off abruptly, and your instinct tells you not to turn around. Because curiosity here doesn't make you smarter, it makes you visible. At the end of the night, someone presses folded cash into your hand, thicker than anything you've earned before. And as you walk away, one thought settles in quietly. You're no longer just watching this world, you're part of it now. Level 2, Corridor, Runner. Now you carry a small bag that never leaves your side. Even when you sit down, your body staying tense like you might need to move at any second. Inside are sealed packages wrapped so tightly they don't shift, but the way people look at you tells you they're worth more than your life ever has been. You move through crowded streets carefully, switching routes, blending into crowds, stepping off buses early, then doubling back just in case someone is following you without you noticing. A siren echoes somewhere in the distance, and even though it's not for you, your pulse spikes like it is, forcing you to keep your breathing steady while your thoughts race ahead. One afternoon, a checkpoint appears out of nowhere, blocking your path with flashing lights and uniforms that weren't there a minute ago. An officer gestures toward your bag, his expression unreadable, and as your fingers slowly pull the zipper down, every second stretches longer than it should. Just before anything happens, a loud crash erupts behind you, metal colliding and people shouting. And in that split second of chaos, attention shifts away long enough for you to step past unnoticed. Hours later, your hands are still shaking, and that's when you understand something clearly. Survival here isn't about skill. It's about timing. Level 3, Sicario, Enforcer. You don't carry packages anymore. Now you carry responsibility, and it weighs far more than anything physical ever could. In a dim room lit by a single flickering light, a man sits tied to a chair in front of you, his breathing uneven, his eyes locked onto yours like you're his last chance. Someone behind you speaks calmly, saying he talked, and that's all the explanation you're going to get. The man starts talking fast, promising anything, offering everything. But you don't let yourself listen, because listening would only make this harder than it already is. For a moment, your mind searches for a reason to hesitate, but the silence behind you feels heavier than any order you've ever heard. So you move quickly and without giving yourself time to think, forcing yourself to cross a line you already know you can never step back from. Later that night, you stand at a sink washing your hands over and over, watching the water run as if it might take something with it, but it doesn't. When you finally look at your reflection, there's no confusion left, only recognition. Level 4, Jefe de Grupo, Crew Leader. Now you give orders, and people wait for your signal before they move, watching you closely like every decision you make carries weight beyond the moment. A deal is set up in a quiet location, every detail planned, every position covered. But as it begins, something feels slightly off in a way you can't explain. Voices rise too quickly, tension snaps like a wire pulled too tight, and before anyone else reacts, you make the call that decides how everything unfolds. The room erupts into chaos, movement everywhere, people scrambling, and within seconds, control disappears completely. When it's over, one of your own doesn't get back up. And for a brief moment, everything around you feels distant, like it's happening somewhere else. Later, your superior doesn't raise his voice or threaten you. He just watches you carefully and reminds you in a calm tone that hesitation costs lives. That night, you replay every second in your mind until one thought becomes clear. Hesitation is something you can't afford anymore. Level 5, Teniente Lieutenant. Money doesn't come in small amounts anymore. Now it moves in waves, flowing through accounts, and businesses that look clean on the surface but exist for one purpose. You sit in quiet offices, signing documents that transform dirty cash into something untouchable, something that can move freely without questions. Numbers climb higher every week, but so do the problems, because at this level, issues don't disappear. They multiply. A shipment goes missing without explanation, a driver suddenly stops answering calls, and a name surfaces in a place it shouldn't exist. Your phone never stays silent for long, and every call feels like it might be the one that changes everything. You handle each situation quickly, without emotion, because thinking too long only creates space for mistakes. Over time, you stop questioning your decisions, not because they're right, but because questioning slows you down. And slowly, without realizing it, you become someone who no longer reacts, only calculates. Level 6, Patrón de Plaza, Plaza Boss. Now you control territory, entire neighborhoods where streets, businesses, and even silence fall under your influence. When you move through your area, conversations stop without warning, doors close, and people avoid eye contact like it's instinct. A rival group begins testing your boundaries with small moves, pushing just enough to see how far they can go before you respond. You don't wait for them to prove anything, because waiting only gives them time to grow stronger. Your response comes fast and overwhelming, sending a message that spreads through whispers long before anyone speaks it out loud. By morning, everything looks normal again, but you understand the truth. Nothing about this is stable. Control at this level isn't something you achieve once. It's something you defend every single day. Even sleep feels different now, lighter, shorter, because somewhere in your mind, you know that losing focus for even a moment can cost everything. Level 7, Capo, Kingpin. You rarely step outside anymore, because everything comes to you through layers of people who handle problems before they ever reach your level. Meetings happen in controlled environments, phones left outside, conversations measured carefully as if every word could carry consequences. Operations stretch across borders, moving through systems built over years, each one designed to keep everything running without interruption. But with that level of control comes something unexpected. Doubt. Small details begin to feel wrong, a delayed response, a glance that lasts a second too long, a report that arrives just a little later than it should. A shipment gets intercepted too cleanly, and suddenly you know the problem isn't outside. It's somewhere close. You start removing people quietly, cutting off anyone who even slightly feels uncertain, because at this level, trust becomes a risk. And over time, that risk turns into something else entirely. Paranoia. Level 8. El Fantasma, the ghost at the top. Now you have everything you once thought you wanted, with money flowing endlessly and power stretching far beyond what you can see. But instead of freedom, your world becomes smaller, confined behind guarded walls designed to protect you from everything outside. You don't eat without checking, you don't move without planning, and you don't trust anyone completely anymore. Every sound feels like a warning, and every silence feels like something waiting just out of sight. You spend your time watching screens, listening to updates, questioning details that never used to matter before. Sometimes you think about leaving, about disappearing somewhere far away and starting over like none of this ever happened. But deep down, you already know the truth. There is no leaving the life you built. Because at the top, power doesn't feel like control anymore. It feels like a cage you locked yourself inside,